Are your gym machines actually lying to you? I mean, it's a crazy thought, right? We put so much trust into the equipment we use every single day. We show up, we sweat our butts off, we stare at those blinking digital consoles, and we just take the info they give us as absolute gospel. But what if I told you that the very tools you're relying on to track your hard-earned progress are, well, secretly deceiving you? Picture this for a second. You just finished a grueling 45-minute session on the treadmill. You're totally exhausted, dripping with sweat, and then you look down and see this beautiful number, 600 calories burned. You feel incredible, right? You feel like an absolute, undeniable, sexy beast who just conquered the day. Well, I really hate to be the one to break it to you, but that number you're looking at, it is fundamentally inaccurate, like entirely made up. Almost every piece of cardio equipment on your gym floor is basically feeding you a fantasy.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are unpacking something we call the cardio lie. Look, if you're using these machines and the numbers they spit out as your primary way to create a caloric deficit, basically attempting to outrun a bad diet, you are making a massive mistake. In this session, we're going to unpack the hard truth about why your trusted cardio routine might actually be stalling your progress, keeping you weak, and building your fitness on a totally broken foundation. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll unmask the rigged math. Second, we'll look at the posture trap. Third, the accuracy hierarchy. And finally, a better way to burn. All right, starting with section 1, the rigged math, or how manufacturers fudge the numbers. The reason those calorie numbers are so wildly off literally comes down to the foundational mathematics inside the machine's programming. See, most machines calculate your caloric burn based on MET, or a metabolic equivalent. Simply put, 1 MET is your resting energy expenditure. It's just the energy you burn sitting on your couch watching TV, simply existing and breathing. But here's where the deception happens. Manufacturers intentionally fudge the math by adding this resting energy right into your active workout total. So if your treadmill says you burned 420 calories, it's highly likely it's including the 100 or so calories you would have burned anyway just by sitting at home. Why do they do this? Simple. Because seeing a massive number makes you feel amazing about the machine. It ensures you'll keep using it, or hey, maybe even buy one for your own house. And the math gets even worse when you factor in the number 154. This is the default body weight in pounds that a ton of these machines use in their algorithms. If you step onto a machine and just hit quick start without entering your specific details, the machine automatically assumes you are exactly 154 pounds. Think about the logic here for a second. If you weigh less than 154 pounds, the machine is drastically overestimating your burn. If you weigh more than that, it's underestimating it. So unless you weigh exactly 154 pounds, your baseline calorie reading is absolutely mathematically guaranteed to be incorrect from the very first second you start moving. Moving on to section 2, the posture trap, and how your form sabotages your results. Now this is where the reality check hits hard. We spend all day sitting, right? Sitting at desks, sitting in cars, sitting on couches. This locks up our joints and causes what's called glute amnesia, which is where your muscles literally forget how to fire properly because they've been dormant all day. And what do? We bring that terrible posture right onto the cardio deck. When we do that, the cost is massive. We're talking up to 50% of your total caloric burn. If you've ever ridden a stationary bike while leaning heavily on the handlebars, or if you've held onto the side rails of a treadmill while walking on an incline, you are actively unweighting your body. By artificially holding yourself up, you're doing significantly less physical work. And less work means fewer calories. You are literally cutting your fat loss in half just by holding on. But it's not just about leaning. It's also about your range of motion. Think about someone on a Stairmaster taking those abbreviated, lazy, short, choppy steps. They aren't fully engaging their muscles at all. To actually get the best bang for your buck, you have to fight that poor daytime posture. You need to stand up straight, maintain excellent form, and drive your movements through full hip extension. Taking a movement through its complete natural range of motion is what actually yields results. Not just, moving your feet as fast as you can in a tiny, restricted little box. Which brings us to section 3, the accuracy hierarchy. Let's rank the worst offenders. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly which machines are the biggest liars. When we rank the inaccuracy levels of popular gym equipment, the elliptical is the absolute worst offender. It overestimates your burn by a staggering 42%. Why? Well, because the range of motion on an elliptical is highly abbreviated, and the mechanics vary wildly between different models and brands. The machine simply cannot accurately guess your output. Next up is the treadmill, coming in at a 20% inaccuracy rate. This happens largely because gyms rarely, if ever, calibrate their treadmills. The belts wear down, the motors strain, and the numbers just drift further and further from reality. And then we have the stationary bike, resting at just a 7% margin of error. So why is the stationary bike the outlier here? If you absolutely must use these screens and you're looking for the most honest option on the floor, the stationary bike is your best bet at that mere 7% inaccuracy rate. The reason is totally mechanical. Unlike the elliptical or the treadmill, which rely heavily on generic mathematical algorithms and assumed body rates, a high-quality stationary bike calculates your burn based on actual, measurable power output recorded in watts. It measures the genuine physical force you are pushing into the pedals. It's grounded in actual physics rather than some generalized math formula meant to just make you feel good. All right, let's look at section 4, a better way to burn, focusing on functional movements and accurate tracking. Here is the paradigm shift you need to make during your very next workout. We are moving from the old way to the new way. The old way is staring mindlessly at the calorie screen, trusting a flawed algorithm, and chasing a totally fake number. The new way is completely internal. I want you to literally throw a towel over the calorie counter so you can't even see it. Just stop looking at the screen and start listening to your own body, specifically your respiratory rate. Your breathlessness is the ultimate truth teller here. If you are pushing yourself to the point where it's hard to carry on a normal conversation, then you are actually putting in the work, regardless of what any digital display says. So, what should you do instead of just mindlessly walking on a treadmill? First, seek out machines that require full body engagement and working arm movement. Think of an air bike or a rower. When your upper and lower body are working together, the sheer difficulty is a dead giveaway of its effectiveness. Second, if you want a movement that combines strength and cardio simultaneously, look to the kettlebell swing. It is an absolute secret weapon that spikes your heart rate incredibly fast while curing that glute amnesia we talked about and building a rock-solid core. And finally, you have to prioritize your foundation. Programs like the Reset Your Body Blueprint are fantastic and stability movements that traditional cardio programs completely ignore. You got to fix the structural foundation first. But the absolutely crucial takeaway is this. Cardio should be a supplement to a clean diet, not a replacement. We stated this at the beginning, and it bears repeating because it is a hard truth. You simply cannot outrun a bad diet. If you're using the gym to try and burn off a cheat meal, you are playing a losing game. The sources make it painfully clear. Even one single slip-up in a meal can mathematically erase an entire hour's worth of intense effort at the gym. A solid, consistent nutritional foundation is absolutely non-negotiable. Cardio is there to enhance a healthy body, not to act as a band-aid for poor nutrition. Which leaves us with one final, vital question to consider. Are you ready to step off the elliptical and change your routine tomorrow? Look, it is incredibly easy to fall into the comfort zone of the treadmill screen, leaning on the rails, letting the machine flatter you with fake numbers. But if your actual goal is to look younger, feel stronger, and build real-world stability, you have to stop chasing hard cardio and ditch the flawed calorie counters. Embrace functional strength, engage your whole body, and let your breath dictate your effort. The truth is out there, and now it's up to you to apply it during your very next workout. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time as we uncover more fascinating truths.